The desert wind cut through the valley like a dull knife, carrying the smell of dust, sweat, and blood. The town of San Diablo sat quietly under the blaze of the sun, its streets empty, its windows shuttered. A single horse moved through the haze, hooves striking against the dry earth. On its back rode a man dressed in a sun-faded poncho, his face hidden beneath the shadow of a wide-brimmed hat. His name was Cassian Cole, but most called him simply, the Mercenary. He came from nowhere, belonged to no one, and fought for whoever could pay. His legend was told in whispers across the borderlands, how he once held off 10 gunmen with only 6 bullets, how he shot a man dead before the other could blink. But now, Cassian wasn't looking for glory. He was looking for peace, though peace was something that didn't come easy to a man like him. He tied his horse outside the saloon, pushed open the door, and stepped inside. The piano was silent, the air heavy with smoke. A few drifters turned to look at him, then quickly turned back to their drinks. He walked to the bar and dropped a silver coin. "Whiskey," he said. The bartender, a man with a limp and a nervous twitch, poured him a glass. Cassian's eyes scanned the room, reflex more than curiosity. He saw the sheriff sitting at a corner table, pretending not to notice him. 2 bounty hunters at another, one whispering to the other while fingering the grip of his revolver. Cassian took a slow sip, set the glass down, and said, "If anyone here's thinkin' of earnin' themselves a reward, I'd advise against it. I ain't in the mood." The saloon went still. One of the bounty hunters laughed, but it was a nervous laugh, the kind that died quickly in dry throats. Cassian didn't look back. He finished his drink and turned toward the door when a woman's voice stopped him. "You're Cassian Cole, ain't you?" She stood near the stairway, dark hair falling over her shoulders, eyes sharp enough to cut glass. Her dress was worn but clean, her face both tired and defiant. "I was," Cassian said. "Depends who's askin'. My name's Rosa Delgado. My brother's dead because of a man named Eli Tanner. I heard you were the kind of man who could fix that." Cassian's hand rested lightly on his belt. "Fixing things costs money. I've got gold," she said. "Not much, but enough to make it worth your while." Gold. The word had a way of changing everything. He studied her face. There was no fear, just desperation and fire. "Tell me what happened." She stepped closer, her voice steady. "Eli Tanner runs this town now. He's got men, guns, horses, and no conscience. My brother tried to stand up to him. They hung him outside the church 2 nights ago." Cassian's jaw tightened. "And where's your sheriff?" She gave a bitter laugh. "Drinking himself to death at that corner table." Cassian glanced at the sheriff. Indeed, the man's face was buried in a bottle. He looked back at Rosa. "All right. You got yourself a mercenary. But I don't come cheap. I don't expect you to," she said, handing him a small pouch of coins. Cassian weighed it, nodded once, and said, "Where do I find him?" "His men patrol the outskirts. But Eli, he's in his hacienda on the hill, guarded like a king." "Then I'll pay the king a visit." That night, the desert turned cold and silent. Cassian rode toward the hill under a moonless sky. The hacienda loomed ahead, a fortress of adobe walls and iron gates. Lanterns glowed faintly, and the sound of laughter echoed from within. He dismounted, checked his revolver, and moved like a shadow through the brush. 2 guards stood at the gate, smoking and muttering in Spanish. Cassian drew his pistol and fired twice. Both men dropped without a sound. He moved fast, slipping through the gate and into the courtyard. He climbed the stairs and found a door half open. Inside, Eli Tanner was sprawled across a couch, boots on the table, glass of brandy in hand. A man in his 40s, with a snake's grin and eyes that saw too much. "Well," Tanner said, not surprised at all, "the famous mercenary. I was wondering when you'd show up." Cassian stepped into the light, gun raised. "You killed a man named Delgado." Tanner nodded casually. "I've killed plenty of Delgados. You'll have to be more specific." Cassian's voice was cold. You hung him outside a church. Ah, Tanner said, smirking. That one. He tried to rally the townsfolk against me. Foolish man. Justice had to be served. Cassian's finger hovered on the trigger. You call that justice. I call it order. This town was chaos before me. Now people work, they eat, they live, because they fear me. Fear keeps the peace. Cassian's eyes narrowed. Fear ain't peace. It's just a slower death. Tanner laughed. Spare me your morality, gunman. You're no better than me. You kill for gold. I kill for power. At least I'm honest about it. Cassian said nothing. His silence was heavier than words. Then Tanner's smile vanished. You can shoot me, Cole, but you'll never make it out of here alive. My men will tear you apart before you reach the gate. Then I guess I'll have to shoot faster. The shot cracked like thunder. Tanner's glass shattered, and a hole bloomed in his chest. He fell back, dead before the brandy hit the floor. Cassian turned for the door as gunfire erupted outside. He dove behind a pillar, returning fire with deadly precision. 1, 2, 3 men fell. He reloaded in the dark, moved low and silent. The courtyard turned into a storm of bullets and screams. When it was over, the air smelled of gunpowder and blood. Cassian walked out through the same gate he entered, his poncho torn, smoke curling from his gun barrel. The moon had risen, pale and distant. Back in San Diablo, Rosa waited by the church steps, a lantern flickering beside her. When Cassian approached, she stood and asked, Is it done? He nodded once. It's done. She looked at him, eyes glistening. Thank you. Don't thank me, he said. It won't bring him back. She shook her head. No. But maybe now, the town can breathe again. Cassian turned to leave, but she caught his arm. What'll you do now? Same thing I always do, he said softly. Keep right until someone else needs a gun. Then God help them, she whispered. He smiled faintly. God's got nothing to do with it. He rode out at dawn. The sky was streaked with gold and crimson, the desert waking beneath it. Behind him, San Diablo began to stir. A few people stepping into the streets, whispering that Tanner was dead, that maybe things could change. Cassian didn't look back. He'd seen too many towns rise and fall, too many graves filled by men who thought themselves righteous. The only truth he knew was written in dust and smoke. Every man paid his price, one way or another. As the sun climbed higher, Cassian reached the ridge overlooking the valley. He stopped his horse, lit a cigarette, and watched the wind sweep across the endless horizon. A new day, a new road, and somewhere, someone else's fight waiting for him. He flicked the cigarette away, adjusted his hat, and spurred his horse forward. The sound of hooves faded into the distance, just another ghost riding through the Badlands, chasing redemption that would never come. They called him the Mercenary. Some said he fought for gold, others said he fought for ghosts. But those who saw him ride away from San Diablo swore they saw something different in his eyes that morning. Not greed, not hate, but a man forever at war with the violence inside him. And out there, under the burning western sun, that war was far from over.